So I wanted to preface this. Something I've noticed over the last maybe, I don't know, I've been streaming since like 2009, maybe even a little bit earlier, I don't know. Been a long time streamer, long time. And something I noticed from when streaming first began to when it progressed up until now, how it slowly became this like degenerate form of content creation. That's what I've noticed. Back in the day, it was just people playing video games, and it was just like it was all cool. Every once in a while, you might do something fun that's like a little bit different. But for whatever reason, I think streaming and streamers, because there wasn't a lot back in like 2009. There just wasn't when I started. To be fair, streaming probably really started in 2008. And I'm kind of sad I missed that 2008 boat. I'm a 2009er. So streaming brought in a lot of people as people started realizing that streaming had some money, right? I kind of want to figure out why. I kind of want to really delve into why the world does not like streamers. Does not like streamers. People are cool with YouTubers. Oh, you're a YouTuber. People hate streamers and people hate TikTokers. The two things that people hate the most. So what I want to do today, something a little bit different. I never do this kind of stuff here, right? I'm going to try something different. Gonna watch some media here on people that what the world's opinion on streamers are and why. This is I've never done anything like this before, so it's gonna be interesting for me at the very minimum. So I got one video on deck right now that I kind of want to watch here. How's this? This video here is called Why Everyone Hates Streamers, a meta-analysis. Somebody actually makes videos on this on YouTube. It's nuts. Camera full. YouTube, here we go. How about this? Let's start this off here. I think this is within frame.
Hello.
It took a whole,
How's the
long
volume?
time. But I really do feel like we're kind of back.
But whatever, it's fun. It's fun. It's cheesy. It's corny.
So I know these guys, not personally. It's funny because I was on a podcast with Trainwrecks, back in like 2019. And this dude here, I was almost right as he was coming on to the podcast, I bounced. I'm like, I want to leave now.
Corny. It's fun. It's stupid.
I haven't quite talked to him. Although I see me click on.
No, I'm not calling it that.
What do I want? I don't want real.
So it's amazing. Like these guys are like the face of Twitch, right? They're almost the face of Twitch. When the fuck did this happen? I guess, man. It's funny because like eras come and eras go. I remember there was like a lot of things on Justin TV Justin TV a long time ago. There's always an in crowd, right? There's always an in crowd. And like this is like the current in crowd of Twitch. I've noticed. OTK. I don't know what OTK is. Is that their Twitch group? But I remember one era of Justin TV a long time ago. There was like a group of people called Retro Rockstars, and it was like at one point they kind of were the most popular thing on Justin TV a long time ago. And it was like comprised of like Man vs. Game, Sweet Elise, GQ. People. Now it's these guys, and maybe in 10 years it'll be somebody else. Because to be fair, I can't see Pokimane being popular in 10 years. Not to be a dick, but like I think a lot of her appeal is going to sound really prickish, but probably because she's just one of the original, I guess, cuties. But the thing is, beauty fades. I could be wrong. I'm not trying to wish anybody ill will here, but
real people. I'm trying to become a streamer. Give me the most fake people and just put me right next to them.
No, I'm just saying. I'm gonna
No,
play you.
I'm saying.
So it's funny how like this guy's like a mainstream dude and this guy's like not a mainstream dude. This guy's, you got the mainstream versus the I don't know what to consider Twitch personally. What's up, Dusty? Fuck that bitch. Yeah, I don't want to be too mean to other streamers though. But I'm pretty honest assessment, like 10 years, I mean, I can't see her. The thing is beauty fades and really I just see her. Hassan sucks ass too. It's funny, I saw him at TwitchCon. The guy is tall. The guy is motherfucking tall. He's a pretty big dude. So, Piers Morgan, I think he's a sellout. I don't respect this guy right here. I don't like Piers Morgan. I just think he's a sellout. And one thing that I have a point of contention with streamers and with content creators in general are sellouts. I don't like sellouts, bro. I don't like them, and I never want to become one myself. So Piers Morgan, he seems like a sellout. He just seems like a corporate kind of shill that pretends to not be a corporate shill. But here's the thing that I think about modern day top streamers. Top streamers. In order to be a top streamer, you have to be a sellout. You have to suck dick. And you have to suck somebody's dick off to maintain your spot as a top streamer. That's what I think. I'm not 100% certain on that, but it just kind of seems like that to me. So you got like, it's funny, the alt culture right here called Twitch, and then you've got, to be fair, I would listen to Hassan Piker over this guy first, but I wouldn't really listen to either at the same time in terms of like news, because you've got like, I don't know what this guy is, bro. He's Talk TV. How's the volume, by the way? Let me know if the volume's good on the stream.
I am.
Okay. Well,
Seems kind of low to me,
I'm
but
saying I am.
Wait.
It's so laughable to me
There's
that you have
definitely-
a guy like him.
The
I
gaslighting
can't.
strategy.
Hold on.
Because you
I can't stream this
And
guy.
not because I'm a propagandist. As far as me being a propagandist goes,
Okay, I
everyone
don't
is a
care.
propagandist. I'm just honest about it. You're a propagandist.
Just gonna give that.
Did you hear what he said? How everybody's a propagandist. You know what propaganda. So what is propaganda? It's you having an opinion and you trying to spread your opinion. Okay. Being a propagandist isn't the worst thing. It just has a bad tone to it. It has, the word itself sounds worse than it actually is. It's just having an opinion and wanting to share your opinion and have other people believe your opinion. So if you believe killing babies is bad or like killing people are bad, having an opinion, I mean, you're basically, if you tell that killing babies is bad or something like that, or killing whatever, because we're seeing the Gaza bombings here, killing babies is bad. Some people will be like, well, it's in the whatever. It's as long as it's in goodwill. That sounds horrible. Some people might be okay with it, but the problem is with propaganda, it's just you having some sort of like message and then you trying to tell other people about your message. That's what propaganda, I believe that's what propaganda is. Hold on. Take a quick look at propaganda here. Propaganda. I'm gonna listen to, the problem, I already know with what's up with this particular video that we're going to be watching. And by the way, I can't stream Destiny on Twitch. I might get banned. I'm going to try doing it anyway, hoping that nobody gives a fuck. Because, information, especially of a biased, dude, everybody's biased though, or misleading nature used to promote, okay, misleading is different though. Biased, everybody has a bias. Used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. So propaganda, misleading can be bad, but everybody has a bias. Like if you believe Santa Claus is good or Santa Claus is evil, that's, you know, your particular bias. If you want to talk about how nice Santa Claus is, how he gave you a N64 for Christmas, that's different. Some people like, ah, Santa Claus is bad. He gave me a coal for Christmas. You got a bias. Whether everybody has a bias. Let me see the all good. Volume's good. Okay, cool. Bro, refuse to listen. Yeah, that's always a bad thing, by the way. That's always a bad thing when you refuse to listen to other points of view. Unless, here's the issue. I remember hearing one girl. Remember, there's this one chick named Bad Bunny on Twitch. I remember her. I was like, back when I used to like her stream, a really long time ago. And by the way, me and her are the exact same age. She goes by Kira Chats now, and she's kind of toxic and idiotic in my opinion. But me and her have the exact same birthday, exact same year, exact same day. It's kind of funny. But I remember one time she said, I don't want to listen to other people's opinions because I've heard them so many times before. I'm like, huh, that's kind of interesting. When you hear the same opinion over and over, you don't really need to at some point listen to other people's opinions, in my opinion. But like if somebody were to say killing is bad, and you were to hear 99 people in a row say killing is bad, maybe you have an opposite opinion, and then the 100th person comes up and it's like killing is bad, like you kind of already know where they're coming from. So not listening to other points of view can be a moot point in my opinion. But generally speaking, not listening to other people's points of views is not a good thing at all. You should listen to other people's points of views. Anyway.
No, hold on, wait.
So this is a compilation, by the way, of why everyone hates streamers. If you look down, a meta-analysis of why people hate streamers. But I can already tell this piece. I wanted to watch this for a few months now, by the way. It came out 3 months ago. I wanted to watch this for a few months. And what I can tell you about this is just notice how everything will be cut out of context. And that's important. So everything, it'll be just be like this little snippet of information, and it's going to be highlighted to make anybody look good or bad. Just keep all of that in mind while you're watching all of this. I'm keeping it. I always keep it in mind. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm not supposed to have this guy on Twitch, by the way. He got banned or something.
Ridiculous. Yeah, that's all you, bro.
Wait, what?
I met her at TwitchCon.
Bro!
I met Amaranth at TwitchCon. I just asked for a quick selfie and I said, nice to meet you. We didn't have an in-depth convo or anything. But one thing about Twitch that you'll see that is that changed about Twitch is people. I mean, OnlyFans girls moved in on here because it's easy money, bro. It's easy money.
Easy money!
Time traveler, that's why I'm a pedophile. It used to be legal in my day and age. You look 16.
Yes, I'm a pedophile.
I'm talking.
The problem is I can't have Destiny on stream, but I'm gonna do this one time.
You understand that I'm toxic. I'm not the person.
None of these marathon. I think Ninja has, by the way, Dusty. I believe Ninja has.
You're supposed to look up right now.
No, wait. We love women. We love women.
But not like genders.
The guy that I was like, I don't need to listen to my parents. I can listen to my f***ing streamer growing up. And now this guy's turning around saying everything I f***ing heard and I told my parents to f*** off about. And now I'm
just notice how all these are cut out of context.
Maybe
I don't know.
I'm
not gonna make judgments on it.
Do you guys have friends?
I do it. I do.
You know what I might say? I might say Twitch might be one of the best places to cut people out of context. So this stream is about why the fuck does the world look down on Twitch viewers and Twitch streamers? In my opinion, I just now thought of this right now. Yeah, DSP, bro. Dark side Phil. But one thing I just came to this epiphany right now. One epiphany I just came right now with is Twitch is the easiest place to get long form content. Find one thing that somebody says out of context, cut that 10-second snippet out, and then just make a compilation the way that there's a compilation going on right here of probably things cut out of context to make people look bad. Always keep that in mind when you see shit like this.
My content completely different from every other YouTuber.
Creativity, let's be real.
This is a compilation, first of all, of 5-second clips of out of context. So it's hard to judge these on by itself, but I know how it makes anybody feel when they see the 5-second clips.
Truth is, most people don't do that on YouTube. Most people are more lazy.
More people are more lazy? I don't think so. Personally, I think Twitch is more lazy.
All the red pill people that I fight against, that I say like you shouldn't do this, is how you build a healthy.
I can't put this guy on Twitch.
Things are things that I do, unironically, in the worst way.
Friendly reminder: nothing is real that you see online. Okay.
I agree with that.
I recently stumbled on a clip.
I generally agree with that. So if you look at like Instagram, people highly curate what pictures they want to be shown of them. It's always a happy picture of them having a good time somewhere nice. No one takes a picture of like, you know, the struggles they have on whatever. So when you're watching stuff online, it's all fake. The problem is when you take this stuff out of context, it makes Pokimane, who's just said that a second ago, look fake as fuck.
Clip from an Asmongold stream titled "This is why people hate streamers." It shows XQC wasting a lot of money in a very short period of time, and it's what got me thinking.
Let me know how the volume is, by the way.
In the first place.
So each ball is $3,000. These are all $3,000, guys. This is $3,000. $3,000. So 585,000 down to 432,000 in 1 minute.
That's more than $150,000
on a gambling site, but maybe they were given that for free
in a year. It's important to note this likely isn't XQC's money, but rather a balanced gambling sites will allow him for promotion purposes.
There you go.
Either way, the point Asmongold is making is valid, that this extravagant overindulgence and materialism is off-putting to a lot of people. Although from where I see it, this is just a small part as to why people hate streamers. If at any point during this
overindulgence is one thing.
Wondering, who is this? Who are these people? It's not important.
I've got a question though for you. Ow, I bit my tongue. Where does overindulgence come into play for most streamers? Like if you look at me, what overindulgence do I have? I guess this is top streamers that do gambling. I don't know. I mean, like let's just look at top streamers for gambling. Gambling is one thing, but where else do top streamers overindulge on things? I'm curious. I don't know. I don't watch top streamers, but I'm kind of curious. Gambling obviously is one.
Expands on this point of jealousy in an earlier clip. He's talking.
I have a lot to say here. So I don't know too much about Asmongold personally. I know that he was dating some one girl who's probably only with him for clout. I forgot what her name was. Candy something. I can't remember. And he made a tweet the other day. How Pokemon, I can't remember, I retweeted it because it sounded logical. I don't know too much about these guys. I really wish I did. I need to like research some of these guys, see who are the like the shills and maybe who's real as fuck. But I don't know too much about these guys personally. Maybe they're all shills. I don't fucking know. Good. Buffering.
Popularity for streamers during the pandemic.
In like let's say 2020, streamers and like content creators, their popularity like skyrocketed. So I think that there's a lot of people.
Everybody was indoors,
and they thought that like, oh, this streamer is my friend. You know, these are like the jaded parasocial Andes that thought that they had a lot in common with the streamer, and then they realize this person's in the 1% making $1 million a year, and it's like, wait a second, this person isn't my friend. I don't make any money. I can't. I'm
just curious. What are the parallels between somebody being your friend and somebody having a lot of money? I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's any to me. You can be friends with people that have a lot of money or have less money, but let me go back here. 10 seconds back. I want to listen. I don't know. God damn it, this buffering.
Social Andes that thought that they had a lot in common with.
If you have an opinion, let me know.
And then they realize this person's in the 1%.
He's in the 1% of streamers for sure. To be fair,
this person isn't my friend.
I'm gonna be honest with you. To be in the 1% of streamers isn't that hard. You just need like a concurrent viewership of like 35 viewers, maybe 30 viewers, maybe 40, and you're in the 1%.
I don't make any money. I can't get a job at Walmart.
While being a successful streamer who makes $1 million a year is an enviable position to many, what he's kind of skimming over here, and an important part of all of this, is how the pandemic played a big role in popularizing streamers, whether they were aware of it or not.
How did streaming fare after the pandemic, though? I'm curious.
To the epidemic
did you go back
of loneliness and social ineptitude. No matter how you perceived the pandemic and the lockdowns, it was bound to affect your outlook directly, or at the very least, the outlook of the people around you. There's just a small small group of people who can claim they directly benefited from the pandemic, and streamers are in that group. The
Really?
loneliness caused by the lockdowns led to the
Interesting.
parasocial behavior that streamers benefited from. Parasocial referring to a connection between a person and someone they don't know personally. Even though parasocial behavior is something that's being brought up
I've never
more
heard of
and
this term
more,
before.
it is
I don't know
often
much about
used
it.
as a vague scapegoat in passing. The fact that parasocial behavior is now a two-way street is overlooked.
And there's a lot of power that fans have over.
I'm kind of curious how many of you motherfuckers subscribe to Pokemon.
And oftentimes, when I talked about parasocial relationships, I talked about how fans could be susceptible, maybe too attached to the creator. Most of the time, I've noticed over the past couple of years, it works in reverse.
Ludwig's cool though. I like him.
Artists are so susceptible and so obsessed with what their fans say. They look up indirects of what people are saying. They look at all their tags, all their mentions, all their DMs, and they form what they do in their life to heed to a lot of the requests of the.
Okay, so that's basically anybody, any public figure at all, period. If you, like, celebrities used to do this, like, you know, like The Rock, Dwayne Johnson or something like that. These days it's a bit weird because now there's a middle class of fame. Anybody can pick up a microphone, turn on a camera, and make content. And generally, as human beings, we kind of look towards other people to kind of derive what we think and how we act and stuff like that. It's not that far-fetched of a concept to me. I mean, let me go back here. I want to really... God, what is this buffering shit? But that's just human nature, in my opinion. To sit there and like complain about human nature is one of the most pointless things. It's like complaining the sun is hot or water is wet. As people, we're always looking to our peers and people we see to derive our own actions. I forgot who made this quote up, but there's this quote that's very popular in like the internet. It's like, you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with the most. So if you don't hang out with anybody, but you, let's say with streamers, you just pick up, if you've got like a bunch of, like maybe let's say 5 streamers, just to keep the number simple, of people that, of streamers you hang out with, you're likely to pick up anyone's behavior you're around. So if a streamer has a particular point of view on something, as people, we're sponges for just like mimicking other people. That's just human nature. It's kind of pointless to argue or to bash that because that's just human nature. God damn it, you buffering piece of crap. I don't know how to stop this buffering. I've never seen this before, by the way. Then again, I'm never pausing my stream like this on Twitch or when I'm watching YouTube. The Poggers community, parasocial. I've never heard the word parasocial before. It's the first time.
It works in reverse. Creators, singers, artists are so susceptible and so obsessed with what their fans say. They look up indirects of what people are saying. They look at all their tags, all their mentions, all their DMs, and they form what they do in their life to heed to a lot of the requests of the fans.
Ludwig is one of the few people who is willing to talk about parasocial behavior at any length within the streaming community. Not very often, but still. His video, I Am Not Your Friend, kicked off this
What a video title.
Although it's hypocritical in some ways and has been sort of mocked into something less serious. More recently, he has pointed out the effect parasocial connections can have on streamers themselves. First, even though it's nice that Ludwig now points out this two-way dynamic, of course Ludwig, a streamer, is going to see the effect of parasocial relationships on his peers more than in the personal lives of his audience. Second, this two-way street must be viewed as a singular dynamic, not two separate issues for the sake of determining who is more influenced. The streamers influence the viewers, and the viewers
I don't know much about
influence the
parasocial behavior.
If the audience
So
is
I'm not going to
overusing
comment too much.
streams and social media as a crutch for their lack of socialization, that could impact the people they watch. If the streamer is going to pander to such an audience for the sake of
honestly,
maintaining
I'm
their
gonna
attention,
say
they
something
might
kind of a
dumb down the
dickish here.
content to avoid the risk.
I'm gonna say something kind of dickish here. It's funny because like Let me maybe see if I can pull it up on my phone. Okay. I remember meeting one girl at TwitchCon. She was Swifter's friend. You know, the Swift Rage guy? She was Swifter's friend. Apparently they met at a bar. He convinced her to be a streamer. I don't know if I can find any photos. But I remember this one girl on at TwitchCon. She was like, people tell me I look like Pokimane. Personally, I don't find Pokimane that attractive. So to me, that would be an insult. But she was cuter than Pokimane. Here she is. I won't say who she is, so fuck off. She's like, people tell me I look like Pokimane. You look like Pokimane if Pokimane were good looking. God damn this buffering.
Found the content to avoid the risk of offending them out of fear of backlash. This is a negative cyclical effect. It is socially detrimental to both the streamer and the audience. The prospect of attention, adoration, and fame often becomes more important to the streamer than any sense of artistry, which is why the same trends are rehashed over and over again. They want a sense of safety and security in the content they provide. The opinions they give all seem Twitter approved, and it's all becoming so tired and monotonous. This is the attitude
people want to get canceled.
The community has adopted, which has resulted in these high school musical kind of antics, which would only work in this stale media environment. An organization like OTK gives off the vibes of being an irresponsible.
I've got an honest question here. So he was saying people creating content that is tried. I mean, you see Hollywood doing this, right? With the sequels like Indiana Jones and the new whatever, blah 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 blah. Basically, they're going for like easy money, right? Let's play the sound of easy money. They're going for easy money. It's a very fragile kind of industry, I would say. Going for things that are like artsy fartsy, really tough to do. Might result in your revenue getting fucked up. I can kind of see why people might create these situations where they create like The Matrix 4 and the movie just sucks. But because it was The Matrix 4, it probably sold like hotcakes. So with streamers, you see the same thing. I can understand the behavior, but tell me now, what content creator out there, like what streamer is constantly creating new different content and they're not hitting the win button? Boop, boop, boop. They're not hitting the win button and they're just winning. Like more money, more money, more money. So he's complaining about people hitting the win button essentially here.
Trends are rehashed over and over again. They want a sense of safety and security in the content they provide. The opinions they give all seem Twitter approved, and it's all becoming so tired and monotonous.
Twitter approved. I don't follow any of these guys on Twitter. I don't know what they say.
Community has adopted,
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, if these large streamers are just saying what's kind of like socially acceptable at the highest levels, just so that they're under the least amount of scrutiny. I don't follow any of these streamers, so I don't fucking know, man. But any streamer that just kind of says their point of view, I don't think you can be a top streamer if you do that, though. I think it's same with Hollywood. You can kind of be a shill. It's kind of, there's the word shill. You can kind of be a shill. You can be an A player if you're a shill, but if you're not a shill, you don't get into the good guy club where you can reach top level success without kind of like just saying kind of the same idioms that are just like recited throughout. You know, being in the particular group of people that are under the least amount of scrutiny because they're taking part of like the biggest community of people that aren't not like, I don't know how to say this. This is difficult. But if you look at what's culturally acceptable, just placing yourself always in where, like there's something called the Overton window, and it's always shifting around and then just constantly shifting to where what's culturally acceptable at that particular second in time or that particular day in time, and just always kind of shifting in there. In order to be top level, I think, I could be wrong, you just have to always be shifting your opinion based off of what other people what the general masses kind of deem to be acceptable or not. So if you're looking at top level people, maybe you kind of have to just sit there and have a fake ass opinion that's always shifting, so that you always have the most amount of, like, the biggest army behind you that'll fight with you or fight for you.
Resulted in these high school musical kind of antics,
Take a
which would
listen.
only work in this stale media environment. An organization like OTK gives off the vibes of being an irresponsible frat house full of children who can't control themselves. And
Bingo! So, in my opinion, we've probably reached the pinnacle of why modern day content creation, modern day streamers are just... I didn't want to spit on my actual wall, but if I had the balls to just dirty my wall right now, I'd spit on that shit right now. Basically, the best way to get clout and eyeballs is just to be a piece of shit. Something that I've noticed, if you want to get the most amount of attention on your whatever, just being a degenerate piece of shit is the best way to do it. And I think the biggest degenerate piece of shit I've ever seen is that one guy that walks around with a bodyguard and he just insults people and tries to get into fights, and his bodyguard stops the fight. Like, that is the pinnacle of, like, playing the algorithm. It's not even playing the algorithm. It's just playing on what people... Like you and me, I mean, the fact that we're talking about it right now gets him attention. I don't know who that guy's name is, but... Man, I need to stop pausing this video if it's going to keep doing this. 6:10. Ugh, the buffering. What is up with this? I rarely do these types of streams. In fact, this is probably the first time I've ever done this in particular. So I don't get what's up with the buffering. You know, I've been into Hassan Piker's stream recently. I followed him like last month or maybe. Just to kind of... I followed a lot of top people last month. Just to kind of see what they're doing. And it's funny, when that guy's in his chat, he's just insulting his viewers left and right, bro. I'm like, holy fuck. It's like he doesn't even like his viewers. But I don't know what would take him to actually get to a point where he would just dislike his viewers. Maybe they're just constantly saying stupid shit to him. I don't fucking know. Maybe he's just got a low attention span. Maybe he's just a piece of shit. I don't fucking know. I don't know what's going on here.
To both the streamer and the audience. The prospect of attention,
Chrome? I'm on
adoration,
Chrome.
and fame often becomes more important to the streamer than any sense of artistry, which is why the same trends are rehashed over and over again. They want a sense of safety and security in the content they provide. The opinions they give all seem Twitter approved, and it's all becoming so tired and monotonous. This is the attitude much of the Poggers community has adopted, which has resulted in these high school musical kind of antics, which would only work in this stale media environment. An organization like OTK gives off the vibes of being an irresponsible frat house full of children who can't control themselves. And
yeah, I hate that
some
about
of the internal problems
TikTokers and Twitch streamers in particular.
I'd say that's a rather accurate assessment. They are hardly the kind of people you'd want to have influence over the youth. The term influencer is a bit derogatory, and with good reason. Celebrities have been around for hundreds of years, but there were other words to describe their occupation. Athlete, actor, musician, television
ethnicity?
host,
I don't know. He seems Arab in some
Nowadays,
faction.
we simply use the word influencer because advertisers and sponsors aren't concerned with their talents or skills, or lack thereof. They only recognize them for their ability to influence an audience well enough to be able
I think
to
the streamer
market to
awards
them.
are actually
But
going on right
surely
now,
some of
where
these
that's taking place.
influencers are a genuinely positive impact on the youth, right? For many, Pokimane comes to mind when thinking of who may be a good role model. Banned off Twitch, copyright.
So, here's the issue with people like Pokimane. I'm gonna quickly take a restroom break. But with Pokimane, like, in order to kind of, I think, here's my opinion. In order to have an opinion on anything, you kind of need to be educated on something. I think it's very irresponsible having an opinion on something when you've got no type of you've done no type of research on it. And I think modern day people, everybody loves having a fucking opinion on something when they don't know anything about it. Like when people talking about parasocial behavior, I never heard of that word before. So I just kind of remain shut about the entire thing. That's like the right thing to do. Girls like Pokemon, do you really see her sitting down there reading a fucking book on like anything, any type of preaching she's trying to do? I don't think so, personally. So having people like this be influencers and having people take them seriously, it's kind of a joke. But the funny thing is, I think human behavior, people don't give a shit about if somebody's knowledgeable or not. People just take they'll listen to people they like. Like there's a bias there. People listen to who their bias is towards. If you like somebody, you're more likely to want to listen to them. So with Pokemon, do you really see her sitting down there being some sort of like intellectual scholar? I don't think so, personally. Her opinion means nothing. Most likely, I don't know. Maybe she sits there and she knows a lot about a lot of things, but maybe she doesn't. I'll be right back. So I'm going to finish that thought. But if you look at Hassan Piker, even though some of you guys may not like him, I personally don't like him a whole lot personally. But the thing about him versus, like, let's say Pokemon, is at least that dude watches 8 hours of, like, the news a day. So he at least have some sort of, like, semblance of maybe knowing what the fuck he's talking about.
Striking a YouTube channel for making content about her tweets, advocating for the legislation of trolling, trying to control people's perspective of XQC's $100 million kick.
Okay, so whenever I mean, that just sounds insane to me, for which she's trying to legislate trolling as, like, illegal behavior. I forgot what point I was going to make a second ago. I forgot what point I was going to make a second ago. Fuck. I forgot. God dang it. I'm noticing my memory kind of sucks these days. And the buffering issue again. Yeah. $7.53. Let's try reloading. $7.53.
Striking a YouTube channel for making content about her tweets,
Oh,
advocating for the legislation of trolling, trying to control people's perspective of XQC's $100 million kick deal, etc.
Oh yeah, the thing I was gonna say is a lot of these are taken out of context, so maybe she has good rationality for what she's saying. I just don't know.
It's a very common thing.
This video, it's clearly just taking things not necessarily out of context to be mean, but maybe in order to make a video that's, I mean, this fucking video is an hour long, bro. Almost an hour long, so you just kind of have to take the, maybe, you know, there's a million things I can think of right now, so I can't really hammer the guy too much, but maybe she's got good rationality for whatever the fuck she's saying. I don't think so. I would bet not, though.
Alike that she is fake.
I'm just so curious. Why did you call me the most corrupt person on Twitch? I just want to know.
The most corrupt.
And then we could move on. I'm just so, you know, because to me, that was, you know, I thought that was like a little funny. So I would love to hear your side of it, and then we can move on, you know?
That's like the third fake laugh she's emitted.
Yeah, those were
like
kind of
1 minute clip
real
we're not even
laughs,
halfway
but...
into yet.
It just makes her look fake. Why is she speaking and laughing like that? It's so weird and eerie. Her forced fake laugh is so cringe. How do people watch this?
Faz, what the fuck? Trust me, bro. Faz, there's always a man. I mean, look at her chat, bro. Look at those chats. Do you think, you know, if they've got like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 viewers, you don't think anybody there would marry her? Tons of dudes would marry her from her chat alone. They've got options. I mean, they probably have their own toys to play with, but they've got options. Bro, I need to stop pausing this shit if it's gonna keep doing this.
She
wants to appear all cute and innocent in front of the camera, and if you attack her for acting this way, people are like, oh, well, she's just having fun. She's just being herself. Yeah, no, this is definitely a fake-ass persona. She portrays herself as a cute, bubbly girl, so no one can talk shit about her content. Because she's
To be
just
fair,
so
that probably gets her a lot of subs.
That's fake and pretends to
Because
be
guys
nice
like
to
feminine
get
girls.
Phony
So she's acting kind of silly.
allows her to get away with things without being called out on
That's
it.
my opinion
And it
on
might
it.
just be because I'm manic, but I also think that I'm not.
I've never seen this person before.
Completely wrong. That Ms. Hassan and now Pokey are fake bitches.
She is so fake. It is infuriating. Going after the two dudes extremely adamantly, while not only having a close friend that does it, she's more of a friend with her than she is of us probably, right? And actually watching it, I think that's weird. I'm sorry. What do you want me to say about it, man? That's a problem.
Pokimane is fake and two-faced. She'll say one thing around one person and a completely different thing around another person.
That's pretty typical of most people, in my
I
opinion.
think the reason that she mentioned him was because she was trying to farm clout and relevancy in a era where she doesn't really have any at the moment. Like the Twitch space, you know?
So yeah, a lot of people have pointed out
That's fucking rough, bro.
but
First of all, that's super rough because you know she still gets maybe thousands of viewers on a stream, and to call that not relevant, that fucking hurts, bro.
proving a character judgment without a shadow of a doubt is incredibly difficult, if not outright impossible. Pokimane and her defenders could always just say, "No,
I've seen
that's
this clip
really her
before.
personality. She's genuinely that positive. You just think that's a fake laugh because you don't
It was
have
like
the
a Twitch
advanced
cringe
sense of humor that Pokimane does." And there's not
compilation.
really a scientific or concrete way to refute that. But this isn't a court of law, it's the court of public opinion, so I'll do what I can to make a compelling case anyway. A lot of people criticize Pokimane for having a PR voice, a disingenuous tone for the sake of her image. Here's a clip of Pokimane addressing that claim.
It is insane the amount of people that will call you fake or yell PR voice because
PR
you're
voice.
not yelling.
This
I've never heard
seems
that
like a
before. That's new
reasonable
for me.
statement, except the reason why she's being called out has nothing to do with whether or not she yells. It has to do with whether or not she's being sincere. Let's continue.
Because you're not yelling like Train and XQC and even sometimes Hassan to get your point across.
Now she's using a whataboutism to throw her peers under the bus and make herself seem better. It's funny because she's familiar with this logical fallacy and has pointed it out before.
Is Amazon perfect? No. But what is this whataboutism?
That was in regards to Amazon's low ethical standards and proximity to gambling, a hypocrisy she was called out for due to her moral stance against Kick, another streaming platform. For those who don't know, Amazon owns Twitch, the platform that Pokimane is signed to, so she definitely knows what a whataboutism is.
Let's not get into some whataboutism.
Even though here she's making the claim to hide her own hypocrisy. Anyway, back to the PR voice clip.
Don't you think that important discussions should be had calmly and clearly showcasing effort to speak calmly, I think is a good thing. And the fact that you view it so negatively goes to show your lack of in-person social skills. And that's really, really embarrassing on your end, if I'm being honest.
So if we're able to communicate in a way where people take us at face value, where people don't find us to be fake or phony, then we're lacking in-person social skills and are embarrassing. I feel so sorry for you that when you try to demean other people for not communicating in the exact same way as you in this sort of soft and flowery voice, that people don't wind up taking you seriously. What a mystery. Like, of course if your tone of voice doesn't match your passive-aggressive statements, then people aren't going to take you at face value.
It's just so reflective of what is considered normal in this community and industry. What's normal is bro, no.
Once again, the criticism wasn't that she doesn't yell or bark at people enough, and now she's just mocking her peers in the most childish way possible. But hey, I'm not a communication expert like Pokimane is. Taking this whole clip into consideration,
Bro, really?
the kind tone, then rephrasing things a bit.
We're talking about her
basically
fucking
saying,
laugh.
Look how immature and embarrassing XQC and Hassan are. They're basically a bunch of wild animals. You people don't even know how to talk to each other. My mode of communication is so much better. I'm just a superior being. Oh my god, how stupid do you have to be to not be able to see that? Pokimane can be a hateful person. She just uses a fake sense of positivity to express it passive-aggressively. It's also particularly disgusting for her to call out people's social skills when the parallel parasocial relationships she profits from are no good for people's social skills. If you weaponize your sense of virtue to attack and demean people who behave differently than you, you're not actually a positive person. She often takes this passive-aggressive and dismissive stance whenever confronted with criticism, saying things like, "You lack social skills. Do you even have friends?" And the classic, "You're just being misogynistic." Now, I'm not saying that misogyny doesn't exist online, but pointing to misogyny when there's a genuine criticism being levied against you is a misdirection. When the whole Twitch versus Kick drama was still in full effect, she says misogyny is the reason why people are upset with her, and that people not getting upset with Asmongold is proof of that. Well, thinking back to what she said in the PR voice clip, maybe she should consider that she's not as good at communicating as Asmongold, because she definitely comes across as condescending here. Moo Kitty properly points out that Pokimane isn't able to deal with criticism, whether it comes from men or women. And once again, Pokimane takes a passive-aggressive and dismissive stance. I could continue, but I think I've made my point.
I've never seen the name iMain before. It's a different name.
On
I think
the
it's a
other
real
end
life
of the
name.
spectrum, we have somebody like Amaranth. I'm not going to devote a whole segment to her because it
E-girls.
is a bit obvious. If you think there are problems with parasocial behavior, the adult entertainment industry, or simping, then you're probably not going to like Amaranth or content creators like her. I do think there are problems with the simp economy, and I've made a video about that. Although Amaranth makes
interesting to
adult
watch.
content and Pokimane doesn't, at least Amaranth is a bit more honest and forthcoming about her behavior. As a side note, I think we can all agree that the whole Amaranth making beer out of her own yeast is absurd to say the least. What a great segue into materialism. Going back to the clip of Asmongold that I played earlier, he also had this to say.
How many times do you see millionaires or some version of streamers' money being used as a pejorative whenever talking about them? I see this all the time. It's because people are jealous. Why wouldn't they be jealous? It makes sense.
While it is common for people to use streamers' wealth as a pejorative or in a derogatory way,
Whoa,
this
bro.
can be said about most lucrative fields that
Whoa,
people
bro.
happen to have disdain for, but the
Whoa, bro.
accessibility and popularity of streaming make it a more common target. This isn't the only
Yeah, you see that a lot. I mean, people are just trying to make content. I'm gonna throw Mr. Beast is like the perfect poster boy of that. I'm gonna spend all this money to do this one thing. People are just trying to make stupid content and whatever of what they think might blow up. Fuck you, buffering. I tried to not pause it for too long and it buffered. Amaranth fart sale. Was it really? Did she actually do that? I guess. I mean, the thing with Amaranth, I think she has a very keen eye for business. Like, remember that bathwater thing? I think she tried to capitalize on that as soon as it came up. On one end, I think that she's just a cheeky kind of like business person. She's just gonna understands if there's a trend happening, she's gonna jump on the trend and try to make a quick buck. That's kind of what probably her point of view is. But honestly, that whole like selling your bathwater and your farts is just like, yeah, I kind of don't want that to exist. And you know what the funny thing is? I don't think they even wanted to exist when they figured it out that that works.
Popularity of streaming make it a more common target. This isn't the only factor at play when it comes to wealth being
Sold
used as a
out.
pejorative against
Sad.
streamers, though. It is a very normal part of streaming culture for them to talk about each
Ms.
other's
Kiff.
wealth, or to talk about money in general.
XQC is so rich now.
He'll pull out $100,000 like you pull out a dollar bill. That's the reaction he'll give.
He was rich before, but like rich in the way I understand it.
In the month of April, I made $500,000.
And it's not because I got like $10 million. It's just because I'm good as I am.
This is who I am.
Can I tell them how much you have in your bank account? Because
Sure.
I know the number.
Why would I compromise my morals and ethics for more money when I have money? Something about that is so crazy.
I remember seeing this clip. When she said that, they were asking if she would do OnlyFans. See, the problem I have with these types of videos is they cut everything out of context. She was asking if she would do OnlyFans, and she's like, I already got money. I don't need to go off and get more by doing that. And to me, I'm cool with that personally. I kind of like that. The thing is, I got weird opinions on everything. I think there's a time and a place for people that do kind of like OnlyFans, not OnlyFans in particular, but you're always going to have people that do like sex work. There's no stopping it. So, but I kind of want to keep that number as low as possible. There's no getting it down to 0%. So I personally would like to see if society kept it as low as possible. And basically, what I remember with that clip that she said she wouldn't do make an OnlyFans because she already has like millions of dollars. I'm like, okay, that's fair enough. Let me see what. I'm not gonna watch this just yet.
I want to hear the exact notes. Woody?
Oh my god.
Floral? I want to hear the...
Yeah,
I want to hear the notes, okay?
3, 2. Bro, I want to back up.
I don't. There's no part of me that believes.
Oh my god, what the fuck? What the fuck is this actually?
So, first of all, with streamers, you always have to know it's better content to just have an overblown reaction to something. So when I see this, I'm like, okay, maybe it does smell bad, but they're always going to make the reaction overblown. Second of all, the whole like twisting and smelling it, like they Belle Delphine, the girl that did the bathwater thing. They figured out that there was no DNA inside of any of the bath jars, so it was just like regular water. So what are the chances the Amaranth sitting there all day eating fucking beans all day to try to like fart into a bottle for like 1K? To be fair, I don't know how many she sold. Maybe like 300. I don't fucking know. Maybe 20. Maybe she didn't have to like sit there for months on end doing it, eating beans. But most likely this actually isn't actually real. It's probably some sort of chemical reaction that she probably made using some sort of like scientific kind of like chemical formula. There's a part of me that just doesn't even think that's her own fart. I can't believe that she would probably be doing any of that.
Oh my god, there's actually a fucking fart in there. What the fuck? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. What the fuck? I didn't think it was gonna be real.
It might not be, bro.
Wait, are you high?
Well, you have to taste the head.
She actually fucking farted in a jar.
You sure about that? Where's my John Cena? I need that quote, that John Cena soundbite. Are you sure about that?
Do you guys smell like a linger? Let me see if it still smells.
I'd be surprised, in my opinion, if she actually farted in her own thing. See, this is one of the issues. So, for Twitch streamers getting a bad name, stuff like this obviously gives Twitch streamers a bad name. And goddamn, bro. I mean, the thing is, I remember when streaming wasn't a fucking circus, bro. I remember when streaming wasn't this sideshow circus that it is now. And it's funny, when I quit streaming for 5 years and I came back, the thoughts I were having for like the last 6 months before I quit streaming was like, Twitch is kind of turning into a circus. Just a little bit. I'm sensing this tiny bit of like circusry that's coming from Twitch. And I come back 5 years later, it's full-blown circus. I'm like, wow, that insight that I had 5 years ago, that was real. And 5 years later, you see it at scale. It's like, holy crap. So when you see like the circusry that other people don't like, that gives Twitch a bad name, it's shit like this, the fart jar. We don't need to watch the rest of that.
Investing in Bitcoin after buying all the shit on eBay. $7,000.
Like, ew.
They wanted $130,000.
Today, I gave my chat 1 hour to buy anything they wanted on Amazon.
Of course. But you know what? You know who started that? Mr. Beast started that thing. They're just copying Mr. Beast.
Sure, I can give you 400K for like 1 or 2 months, Ms. Kiff. They think I'm like secretly hoarding like $10 million or something.
I've been paid $360 million for 16 months of gambling. Yeah. I could buy Hassan, Pokey, and Ludwig all together and sell them and buy them again.
Flaunting wealth is incredibly common on social media in general. This normalizes the focus on finance not only for the audience but for the creators as well. For most of society, it's frowned upon to talk about how much money you make. It's taboo, it's gross. But in social media careers, it's not just normal, it's encouraged.
I wonder why. I wonder what the behavior, because the thing about what about that actually, the problem is if that didn't work and that didn't get people views, if it didn't get people views to flaunt your money and flaunt your status and flaunt your cars and your whatever, if that didn't work, people wouldn't do it. So I kind of wonder, I mean, you have to kind of look at the viewer and go like, why the fuck do you want to watch people with like lots of money flaunt their Bugatti. I don't know. People are just doing what works, in my opinion. God, fuck you, buffering. I need to figure out why it's buffering. If anybody knows, just let me know.
Influence the relationship between the audience and the streamer.
What the
but money
fuck? That's some
becomes a
simp shit
defining
right there.
characteristic of the relationships streamers have with one another. I'll look over 2 different clips to support this claim. This one is of Emaru after loaning another streamer, Mizkif, $400,000.
What
So
the?
since the loan shark joke thing started, like 3 or 4 people have come to me to ask
3
me
or 4?
for massive loans. And it's
Not a
all
whole lot.
people that it's like I'm kind of friends with, so it kind of makes me sad. But oh my, this one person today, so they asked me for a loan half a week ago or something, right? And at first they were like asking for a small amount, and I already kind of didn't want to, but they were like, oh haha, we can write up a contract, haha. And I was like, sure, whatever. But I wasn't like wanting to do it. They sent me the contract today. They wanted $130,000.
This person wanted a loan of $130,000 and also to be able to pay it back within 20 years with 0 interest. That's the kind of money you would ask from an investor with a legitimate and promising
0
business
interest.
plan.
That's a family
Even
loan.
then, it's not
That's
gonna
like when
be
you
a
give money to
20-year
your family
loan
members.
with 0% interest. 130 grand isn't casual walking around, hey, I accidentally left my wallet at home, can you spot me for a sandwich kind of money. This is more of a, so I considered the value of our friendship and noticed the amount of money you loaned Mizkif and figured, hey, why not just gamble and see if you can still manage to respect me after I ask you for such a large
Why
amount
is
of
Gary
money.
V there,
If
by
a
any
friend of
chance?
mine asked me for a smaller amount of money and
They-
then sent me a contract.
Carnage, I'm telling you right now, one of the rules of life that I've heard is if you ever loan money to a family member, expect you'll never get it back. That's just like this weird rule of life. If you ever loan money to a family member, just expect that there's like a huge % chance that you're just not going to get that money back. I haven't loaned my family any money personally, but I know my father has loaned a lot of people money, and he's like, they don't pay it back. That's what he told me. They're not paying it back. He owes me 5,000. This person owes me 5,000. Just expect that to be the norm, and it's a rule of life that I heard not from my dad, just from general society, and then I kind of see it in my father, who made the mistake of loaning lots of people money. They don't pay it back. Buffering. You test buffering in incognito private mode. I'm a little scared I'll have to watch ads in incognito mode. I don't know what private mode is, unless that is incognito mode.
Me after I asked you for such a large amount of money. If a friend of mine asked me for a smaller amount of money and then sent me a contract asking for 130 grand, I wouldn't be able to forget that.
I don't know
That
who
would
she is.
change
First
the
time I've ever seen her
dynamic of our
today.
friendship
She's
forever.
very
And
pale,
this
but
isn't the
I like
only
pale
friend that did
complexions.
this
It's
to
weird.
Emaru. It's just probably the
I'm
most
gonna go sub to her
egregious
OnlyFans.
example. I know that the influence of money
Just
isn't
kidding.
exclusive to streamers, but knowing how much the top streamers make and how much that income can vary from streamer to streamer, along with the already strong emphasis on wealth in social media, it's easy to imagine a culture of materialism within the streaming community.
Money just changes people, man. And people say it's changed me. You wanna know why? You wanna do something about me? I'll leak my entire life for you right in front of you. I don't give I'll leak it all for you, okay? There's a point in my life, recently I guess, where it just felt to me like everybody around me, just that's all they cared about is just money. I'm not trying to act like a victim or something like that or whatever. The only thing that I'm trying to make you understand, okay, is that I didn't change for the longest time, and it felt like that's all people wanted. So yeah, I bought really dumb shit. I wasted money on the stupidest thing I could ever find, right? Just to show that, hey man, listen man, guys, look guys, if you're gonna care that much about it, I care too. And I was financially self-destructive because they f***ed me. I was just tired that I would buy myself nothing, do nothing with all the money that I have, and just sit there with idling it when everybody around me, everybody cares about it, wants a part of it. I was like, you know, dude, yeah, you want a part of this? Here, man.
I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what the fuck he's saying.
That's how little I care about your shit. Okay, only thing you care about, I'll wear it, dude, because you're an idiot. I hate these people. They're annoying. Yeah, that's what he said. Dude, victim.
Notice how he's like the only person they have to put subtitles for.
Annoyed the out of me. It was a way for me to just voice back at them. That like if I cared about them, I'd do it for them. But instead, I'll waste it. Because that's how little I care about people that just care about money. I would rather see that money go up in flames on useless than being given to people that's all they care about.
Before I get into this, take this
Huh.
with a grain of salt.
I don't know anything he just
XQC
said
was
there.
signed
I
to
wish I
Peak
did.
For $100 million, and I don't think there are very many people on this earth who wouldn't be changed at least a little bit by that amount of money. Also, it does seem like he has a gambling addiction, at least on some level. With that
It's
said,
probably
this
not.
clip
You know
could
what I
explain a
learned
lot-
for the gambling thing, by the way? A lot of these people are paid to gamble, so it's not like they had a gambling addiction. I think train wrecks. I don't want to talk shit about train wrecks, but I think he was paid. I could be wrong on some of the details here, but I think he was paid by the gambling websites to gamble on their website, to play their game, essentially, right?
Like he has a gambling addiction, at least on some level. With that said, this clip could explain a lot. When XQC first got this lucrative deal, his peers, Pokimane and Hassan, put in a good deal of effort trying to debate him. This was under the guise of, we don't like gambling, we think gambling is immoral.
We don't like gambling because we haven't gotten the $100 million deals ourselves.
Problems with gambling, but tag teaming somebody for 2 to 3 hours in a debate to try to make Amazon seem like an ethically superior company has to do with pettiness and envy, not some strict moral.
Okay, so they were trying to make Amazon seem like a morally superior company versus Kick, but who's to say that Amazon didn't pay them to have that position? This is why I don't trust large streamers.
Code that Pokimane and Hassan abide by. It wouldn't matter where this $100 million came from. People like Pokimane would still treat him differently. The phrase crabs in a bucket comes to mind. If a crab at the top has the opportunity to escape, their peers will try to pull them back down. But in this clip, that's not necessarily what XQC
Is that actually what
referring
happens?
to. He's talking about the
Crabs
other
in a
end
bucket.
of the spectrum. The beggars, the ass kissers, the people who, after getting his deal, all of a sudden want to be extra friendly with XQC.
Yeah,
His
that's
annoyance
life,
with both
unfortunately.
groups changing their attitude towards him is completely understandable, and with money no longer a concern to him, it would make sense that he starts to act irrationally out of spite. This would explain his more recent flippant and wasteful behavior. Don't get me wrong, I bet he enjoys spending that money too, but would he be as extravagant with things if it weren't for the materialistic culture amongst his peers? I'm not so sure. What we can say for sure is that XQC is a pretty lazy reactor. This lack of reaction during reaction content is only rivaled by Hassan's bathroom breaks.
Bro, did you see the Amanda Bynes shit?
Where'd you grow up? What neighborhood you from?
Hold on, where were we a second ago?
But hey, I'm not a communication expert like Pokimane is.
It was like around here. But do you see that Amanda Bynes thing that's been passing around social media where she's like shaved her head? Where's the Amanda Bynes thing? God damn, bro. She was so pretty back in the day. She was so pretty back in the day. She's like, I think 1 year older or younger than me. I think 1 year younger than me.
ATM, where'd you grow up? What neighborhood you from?
Friendly with XQC. His
And
annoyance
now, I don't know, bro. She's got like this tattoo on her face. She's got one of those ugly ass nose rings and she's shaved her head and made it pure blonde and she's just
with both
holy
groups changing their
fuck.
attitude towards him is completely understandable. And with
You know, I think fame can just really fuck people up.
money no
If you're
longer
not
a concern
ready
to
for
him, it
fame,
would make
it can really fuck you up. And if you get famous at a young age, which is a great time when you wouldn't be ready for fame, can fuck you up.
sense that he starts to act irrationally out of spite. This would explain his more recent flippant and wasteful behavior. Don't get me wrong, I bet he enjoys spending that money too. But would he be as extravagant with things if it weren't for the materialistic culture amongst his peers? I'm not so sure. What we can say for sure
The materialistic culture, I mean, does it... here's my thoughts. Is it just because it makes good content and other people and viewers like watching that and that's the only reason that they're doing it? Or, do they just like buying shit? I don't know. Maybe a little bit of both. Buffering. I could pay $1 million to make this buffering go away. I wouldn't have the money, to be fair. But Amanda Bynes, man, that's sad, bro. Like, looking at her today is just like, holy fuck. What a cutie pie, man. She's like, I grew up watching her on, like, what's that one show that I used to watch as a kid? All That? And you just see these child actors. You know, anytime you see a child actor, just know that they probably went insane growing up. Same with Britney Spears. I don't know too much about Britney Spears in the modern day era. People are like, oh my god, she's a victim. Part of me wonders, I don't know too much about it, so I mean, here's a theory. I don't know this as a fact, but like her father, who had her in a conservatorship, I've never heard of that shit before. I don't even know what it means, to be fair. Part of me wonders if her father was just acting in her best interest because she just went fucking insane from being a child actor. Ugh. I want to have some chewing gum. This stuff is pretty good for you. It's made out of pure xylitol. Apparently, xylitol is really good on your teeth. So whenever you see me chewing this shit on stream, it's not because I have a chewing gum addiction. Simply because it's just good for your teeth. I'm only have one piece. Just get to chew on this stuff. Penny on Big Bang? Who's that?
Action during reaction content is only rivaled by Hassan's bathroom breaks.
ATM, where'd you grow up? What neighborhood you from?
Los Angeles, California, South Central.
South Central. And tell me about your...
Hey, he's got my chair. I got that chair, I think. No, it's not the Aeron. It's very similar though. You know what's funny? Back during Resident Sleeper, when I disappeared from stream for like 6 hours, people made a kind of a joke to make my chair into a meme almost. People were kind of joking about my chair in the same way he's joking about how his chair is somehow significant now. I don't fucking know.
To be honest, I don't have a problem with React content in particular.
Pokey,
For me, I like the potential exposure that reactions can provide.
That scandal
even
a
if
month
they're
ago.
being critical of my video or hardly reacting to it at all. However, just because I don't like the idea of people striking down other people's reactions doesn't mean I automatically think all reactors are good content creators. If someone like Hassan misrepresents an argument in the video or leaves the room for several minutes as it plays, that's certainly
Several minutes? I mean, it's not that long, bro. I just took a piss a second ago.
fair grounds for criticism. I don't think sloppy reactions
In fact, I need to take
justify
another one.
filing a copyright claim, but reactors, especially ones like Hassan, are often going to be understandably stuck with the reputation for...
You know, I think the reason here's my point of view as a person that makes content himself, right? The reason he leaves the bathroom and keeps the video playing is just to keep the stream entertained. That's it. You know what's funny that I've noticed throughout like years of like, I need to take a piss right now, but like years of making content, sometimes just leaving the goddamn stream open and where everything paused, I'll come back and it's the same viewers after I left. People don't leave. Sometimes people just come in. It's like weird. I don't fucking know. It's so weird. But from his perspective of maybe like to the scale that he has, maybe it's different. Maybe he'll come back and he'll have 5,000 less viewers. I need to take a piss. I'll be right back.
If someone like Hassan misrepresents an argument in the video or leaves the room for several minutes as it plays, that's certainly fair grounds for criticism. I don't think sloppy reactions justify filing a copyright claim, but reactors, especially ones like Hassan, are often going to be understandably stuck with the reputation for being bottom feeders of content. What he does isn't some form of high art or a noble pursuit. If Hassan
I don't watch enough of this guy's content to really be able to make a judgment here, unfortunately. I don't know. This guy's making a judgment here about this guy's content. I don't fucking know anything about this guy, really.
gave himself enough time to construct some sort of narrative, or at the very least occasionally gave himself some distance from social media, I think he'd be in a much better place to make content that's actually worth something. Normally, this dialogue around his rather careless approach to content could just start and end there. However,
to be fair, I mean, I think this guy does mostly political content. I mean, I'm gonna defend him here just because I. So the criticism here for this guy here is that if you look at this picture, it explains it all. How he's just he'll stream for like 10 hours straight or something, right? And the point of his streams, like if you look at the point of this stream, there's a point to the stream, I guess, right? We're looking at why people hate Twitch content creators so goddamn much. The guy doesn't have a point to his streams. He's clocking in his hours to make his money or whatever. So this guy's being criticized for just not having a point to his content, I guess. But I mean, from what I've seen, I followed him like last month. He mostly does political commentary. To me, that seems like there's a point to it, and I think it's highly sought after. I mean, if you look at his viewer count, obviously, other people find the same value. They find some sort of value in it as well. But the point they're making here, this guy's making, that there's no point to his content. Like, he doesn't have a point. He's just clocking in hours, right? That's what the criticism of glitch poachers is making. But this guy, I mean, from the limited amount of time I've seen this guy, he does political content and
social media,
you may
I
not,
think he'd be in a much better place to make content that's actually worth something. Normally, this dialogue around his rather careless approach to content could just start and end there. However, since Hassan is a politically influential figure, his carelessness has more far-reaching implications.
But it's interesting that you call me a propagandist, because I want to play you. This was your reaction to when the hospital got
I'm
bombed.
a propagandist.
Well, no,
For the record.
I'm not calling
I'm a
you that. I'm just,
propagandist.
I'm just.
I think this is important here. Remember earlier on we looked at what propaganda was? Propaganda is having a message and you're spreading your message, right? Don't they both do that? Don't they both do that? I think he's a socialist. I think Hassan's a socialist. And then this guy's a conservative, Republican conservative. They both spread their message. Isn't that propaganda?
I'm just saying. I'm going to
No,
play you.
I'm saying I am.
Okay, well then I want to.
I'm saying I am.
I just
before
want to
you
put
even play it, and not because I'm a propagandist. As far as me being a propagandist goes, everyone is a propagandist. I'm just honest about it. You're a propagandist. We have our
I'm
biases.
curious who you think I'm a
I am at least
propagandist
honest
for.
about my biases.
See, the problem with Piers Morgan, I don't like Piers Morgan personally. Like the media, like I only like people that do news reporting that are like tiny channels, right? Because they might be less financially corrupted. And this guy absolutely just seems like he's, you know, got a bunch of strings being pulled of him like a puppet from many different types of corporate interests and shit like that. I just don't trust this guy on the left. But to be fair, I don't like Hassan either, so. But I only trust people that are like smaller on the spectrum personally. They may not be so bribed and corporately financed and shit like that. I wish there was more salad, bro. I'm out of salad. Faz, do you have tabbouleh in India? I don't think so, personally. Whenever I go to Indian restaurants, you guys have I think some other things on your menu. Kale. Come on, damn you, buffering. This buffering hurts, bro.
I'm saying I am.
I just
before
want to
you
put
even play it, and not because I'm a propagandist. As far as me being a propagandist goes, everyone is a propagandist. I'm just honest about it. You're a propagandist. We have our
I'm
biases.
curious who you think I'm a
I am at least
propagandist
honest
for.
about my biases.
Who do you think I'm a propagandist for?
Conservative
Who do
media.
I think you're a propagandist
Yeah.
for? Whichever every media person is doing propaganda.
Yeah, but who for? I've got to be doing it for
doesn't-
somebody.
You think it's a bad word? I don't. That's just the difference.
I should be clear, I am no expert on geopolitical
See, he did a bad
conflict,
job
and I don't
explaining
care
his
enough
his,
to
his
become
point of
one.
view. I think his
Something
point of
do
view had
care
merit
about,
to it.
however,
He just
is
did a horrible
communication
job
and
explaining
how it's
it.
used in media. The definition of the word propaganda is a bit more general than you may think.
Okay.
Technically speaking, Hassan isn't necessarily wrong when he says everyone in news media is a propagandist, but he'd also be semantically correct if he called fitness advocates propagandists. With this kind of rationality, you could dismiss
What kind
all
of
parents
exercise
and
is that?
teachers as propagandists. Are you worried about a friend's drinking problem? Well, you're
The problem with I guess the word, when you use propaganda, when you're going to use the word like propaganda to explain yourself, it's got a negative connotation in society. So even though technically you're correct, you probably shouldn't use the word. Even though technically it's just you spreading your message, right? Even though technically it might be correct, because it's got such a negative connotation, you probably should explain it in a different way. Buffering. Fuck you. I try to have the most like logical kind of rational point of views and arguments here. I think that's a good way of saying it though. If you're going to use the word propaganda, because it's got such a negative point of view in society, you probably shouldn't use it. Just use a different way of explaining it that isn't going to make people feel in a certain way about it. Like, but then again, who knows? Maybe him saying that, I mean, obviously that got clipped, right? So it got him attention and might have gotten followers, might have made him a lot of money just saying shit like that. So who am I to say? Who am I to say that idea is not something you should do?
Are you worried about a friend's
What is this
drinking
exercise
problem?
too, by the
Well,
way?
you're probably just a propaganda peddler. Stop being so biased and stop promoting a positive view of clean living. We need a word for information or misinformation that's being used in a malicious way. We don't need someone like Hassan to cheapen the word propaganda and make it more ambiguous, especially in today's media
Cheapen the word?
environment. We need to be able to call out propaganda without other people trying to correct us saying, well, everything is
different word.
propaganda, so it doesn't matter.
Use a
We
different
don't
word.
need to be conflating whatever good, honest journalism we can manage to find with malicious, manipulative propaganda. They are not the same thing, and it's dangerous to say they are.
I can agree with this guy,
connotation
but
attached
just use a
to the
different word,
word
that's the
propaganda
solution.
is not only necessary, but it's the whole point of using such a
Dark Souls
word.
3 is
Hassan
awesome.
seems to know this as well, because at one point during the Piers Morgan interview, he says, "See, this is why I call you a propagandist."
See, this is why I call you a propagandist, Piers.
A call out and an insult that would be entirely unnecessary if everyone in news media was a propagandist, like Hassan says. And what would Hassan's impressionable audience think about this normalization and downplaying of propaganda? Oh wow, I never realized propaganda was so edgy, cool, and acceptable. I never knew propaganda was so based. Oh boy.
Just don't
I
use the
can't wait
word,
to
in my
tell
opinion.
my friends at school how counterculture I've become. The 8th graders might even let me sit with them. That's right, I don't just watch the news, I consume propaganda from my favorite propagandist, Hassan Piker, who gives me the correct propaganda. In this interview, he also tries to claim he doesn't cover breaking news, which is just a straight up lie.
I usually have a policy of not covering breaking news,
'Cause it lacks context, I'm
sometimes
guessing?
that policy is violated, but ultimately I am not held up by the same journalistic standards, even though I think I do a much better job than most other news outlets in general.
He covers whatever is, to quote Hassan, popping off on Twitter, which quite often includes breaking news.
I'm just a dumb idiot.
But let's get back to the main topic of this video. What are Hassan's thoughts on streamers being hated?
I remember a time when like YouTuber was like a new concept. Everyone thought YouTubers were despicable, and then
Yeah.
new kind of content came around, and then people started hating
That's
whoever.
how life
like
is.
they hated Viners. But right now it's streamers.
I don't think this is that bad of a take. There are times when it's in fashion to hate certain things. It's far more complicated than that, but
So, in terms of like hating certain things, the thing that I do grew because the way I'm gonna say this, like when I was growing up, MySpace and like Facebook, like joining those meant like it was so like so bad. Ooh, you're like so mainstream if you use MySpace. But then like 3 years later, all the people that I knew that were saying, including me, was like, I don't use MySpace. That's below me. Those people adopted MySpace eventually. That's how life works, in my opinion. You'll have people that it'll be uncool to do something, but then as that uncool thing gets bigger, in terms of like MySpace or Facebook, it got so big that everybody started using it, and then all of a sudden it's not cool anymore, or it's not uncool anymore, and it's the new normal. He's making an argument that Twitch live streamers are like that. Maybe in like 5 years, 5 more years, maybe live streamers will be more acceptable in today's day and age. Maybe. I don't fucking know. The thing is, I think Alexa, stop alarm. There you go, Faz. There you go. It's just normal human behavior. Just expect it anytime anything new pops up. Oh my god, that new thing is bad. Think about the stupid Apple Vision that's like taking over social media, like, right? The Apple Vision, people are like using it everywhere, and like they're in the subway, they're walking down the street with this stupid like goggles on. Everyone's gonna make fun of it now. 10 years, are you gonna be making fun of it, or are you gonna be like one of those people that are just like, oh, I'm I use it too, but instead of you being an early adopter to it, you came in late. Maybe even to the point where the product is getting phased out for the new, something else that's popping up that's new, and you're just getting phased out. It's kind of like you know, as time goes on, new trends pop up, and you started doing a trend toward its dying era. But a new trend pops up, and the new trend comes up, and you're like, I don't use that new thing. I use Facebook in terms of like, that's how I remember. That's the lesson that I learned in my life was MySpace and Facebook. Even though I never really used Facebook personally, I made an account eventually. I said I would never make an account on Facebook, and I did. I said I would never make an account on MySpace, and I did. And a lot of my friends also said they wouldn't do that, and they did. But then as MySpace was dying, Facebook started popping up, and they're like, I'm not going to use Facebook. That was the new thing, and then Facebook took over, and then they eventually joined, and then what's the new thing? Instagram? By the way, if you're a guy, you should absolutely have an Instagram, bro. You should absolutely have an Instagram. Because it's your dating resume, unfortunately. If you have cool pictures of you doing cool things on Instagram, it's the new, hey, can I get your phone number? Like, what's your phone number? Maybe we can go out sometime. That's your new, can I get your phone number? It's like, what's your Insta? And then you take a look at their photos, they take a look at yours. Actually, you don't give a fuck about what their photos are, to be fair. But the girl cares about what yours are. She wants to make sure that you live a normal life and that you're not going to kill her at some point in your date. And if you got all these pictures of you with other people having fun and doing fun things, she'll trust you more.
Popping off on Twitter,
what's up, Skittles?
which quite often includes breaking news.
I'm just a
Yeah, I saw that too. Then he crashed his car, didn't he? On that headline.
Of this video, what are Hassan's thoughts on streamers being hated?
I remember a time when
I'll quickly comment on that, by the way. Whenever new things like that pop up, like the Vision Pro or whatever, right? It's always going to be filled with hate. Even that article right there. Obviously, they want to show all the worst parts of like all the most egregious parts of people using the Vision Pro and getting into like accidents and stuff like that. So because why? Because most people will point at that and go, "See, I knew it. It's dumb. That's why I'm not going to have a Vision Pro." But then as, time goes on, those people will eventually go, "Oh, I guess I'll have one." And then they'll jump on the bandwagon. But like the bandwagon right now is to be a hater, right? But give it 10 years and it's going to be anybody that doesn't like Vision Pro is weird. Those are the weird people. The same people that were saying that it's dumb and stupid now are the ones that'll be like, "Oh, it's so weird not to like it." That's how life turns out on everything about life. Buffering?
YouTuber was like a new
No
concept.
buffering.
Everyone thought YouTubers were despicable, and then new kind of content came around, and then people started hating whoever, like they hated Viners.
Viners?
But right now, it's streamers.
I don't remember Vine
I
at all.
don't think this is that bad of a take. There are times when it's in fashion to hate certain things.
Yes.
It's far more complicated than that, but Hassan makes other points.
I think people are currently just shitting on streamers because they hate everything that era of their lives remind them of. You know what I mean? Like they hated COVID, they hate all the bad feelings they had, feeling secluded,
streaming's been
feeling alienated, feeling socially
past
isolated,
COVID, like before COVID.
And they certainly
I don't agree with this
having to
opinion on
be
this
indoors
personally.
and whatnot. And what did they do during that time? They watched a lot of Twitch streams.
Once again, I don't think he's
I don't
that
know.
far off the mark.
I
but
personally think
watching
he's very
streamers
far off
was
the
a
mark.
positive and healthy escape during that time.
I think it's all the
don't think
degenerate
there would
streamers
be
that are
this
fucking up
negative
streaming.
association with it. I think people started to realize these parasocial relationships aren't helping them with their loneliness at all. Not just that it reminds them of a rough period of their life. Let's continue.
There is not enough money in this space yet to make Twitch streamers look like real celebrities in the same way that like YouTubers are considered kind of closer to real celebrity status. So
Yeah,
you
that
just
might change
no
in 10
matter
years.
what happens through social conditioning, you look at people in the entertainment sector and you perceive them as like valid and you perceive them as like deserving of their wealth, kind of. You know what I mean? But e-celeb is bull. You know, I am bullshit. I'm not like a real celebrity. I'm not. I would never think that. I don't think I'm like an actually famous person.
Okay, now this
So what the
part,
fuck is a real celebrity? I mean, of Hollywood, that was the old metric in my opinion. Now we got a new metric. Everyone can make content. There's not a middle. What's the word? A middle ground, but like for people, like there's a middle. You know, like in what's the word I'm looking for? Damn it! There's like the low class, the middle class. There's a middle class of fame. That it used to be either nobody knew you or you were like a Hollywood celebrity. That was like 20 years ago, right? Hollywood was the old metric, and it's still a pretty good metric these days. Like, I mean, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is not really any less of a celebrity now than he is back then. Although now you've got people that are in the middle class that caught up to him.
More issues with.
Yeah.
First of all, it's not the money that makes somebody a celebrity, it's the fame. If millions of people know who you are, you're
Exactly.
famous, you're a celebrity.
I agree with
Just
this guy.
Because there's not
I agree
as
with
much
this guy.
money in streaming as there is in Hollywood.
I agree with
doesn't
this guy.
mean massively popular streamers aren't celebrities.
Exactly.
Second, while people do see celebrities of old media and new media differently, Hassan is still rather famous. More importantly, he's influential to younger millennials
We agree,
and Gen
Tui.
Z, a demographic that's known for being difficult to market and appeal to. Someone like Brad Pitt is definitely more famous, but he doesn't have the kind of political influence over the youth like Hassan does. Downplaying this influence seems irresponsible yet convenient for him. He claims to be just a dumb Twitch streamer.
That's sad.
But at the same time, he is one of the most prominent political voices that younger people look to.
Truth.
This is more convenient for him because he can be more provocative and reckless without taking as much responsibility. Blurring the line between entertainer and political influencer is advantageous for people like Hassan, but only adds to the confusion of an already hostile and confounding political landscape. Hassan isn't the only streamer with this problem.
If you have a
Oh
democratic
boy, I
style
can't
of
stream this guy without getting banned.
You are entrusting people with one of the most awesome and
Fuck you, Twitch, for doing that in the first
And that's
place.
saying that you're
I
going
can't
to
stream. I can't stream this guy's face. I can't stream this guy talking without potentially getting banned. Does anybody know if they've changed that rule? Because I mean, it just completely fucks up this video if I have to skip this guy. And to be fair, I don't know who else was banned on Twitch. Maybe I can show videos of him, but I just can't host him on a live stream with him live. But I mean, I don't know who's been banned on Twitch. Fucking Twitch and their stupid policies of 2024. Jesus Christ. He got banned on Twitch, so I'm not allowed to stream him, basically. I think that's how it works. Call me, I mean, if anybody knows, let me know. Yeah, is this a YouTube thing where I can't, where I'm getting buffering this hardcore or what?
With this problem.
If you have a democratic style of governance, you are entrusting people with one of the most awesome and radical of responsibilities. And that's saying that you're going to pick the people that are going to make some of the hardest decisions in all of human history. If you're going to trust people to vote correctly, you have to be able to trust them to have open and honest dialogue with each other.
This is another political streamer, Destiny, having a conversation with Lex Friedman. I want to establish that by using Destiny's logic, he is in a position of great responsibility. If democracy is a radical responsibility for every individual voter, then those with political influence over thousands need to be held to a much higher standard of responsibility. Not only does Destiny have an audience of thousands and thousands of people, he also coordinates canvassing campaigns. According to the recruitment for the
I hope so, Tui.
2024 canvassing effort, they're gearing up for the largest project anyone in the online politics space has ever attempted, and they need your help. This adds even more responsibility to Destiny's position. Not to mention, there are people in his audience more willing to listen to him rather than their parents or family, even on non-political issues.
Listen, the guy that I was like, I don't need to listen to my parents, I can listen to my streamer growing up, and now this guy's turning around saying everything I heard and I told my parents to f off about, and now I'm like, dude, I don't know. Maybe I hedged my bets.
To
in the
be
wrong
fair,
place.
I mean, your parents aren't anything special in terms of like what they know. It's complete bias. Like, would you trust your best friend's parents on what you should do in your life or what they believe? No, you don't. You generally don't. What about your, like, you know, there's a huge bias towards our parents. And the thing is, our parents aren't necessarily always right. Like, my dad thinks a bunch of weird stuff. I have to like tell him, no, that's not how it works. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Parents don't know everything. That's one of the best things you learn when you're going from like being a kid to an adult, and knowing that your parents were flawed, not in a bad way. They're just human, and they're susceptible to mistakes. And they weren't actually, like there's a quote. I forgot who made this quote, but like I remember hearing it. I believe in Silent Hill 3 too. It came from some sort of, I'm sure, somebody in real life. But like a parent to their kid is like God. That's what God is to your kid, is their parents, right? And there's this nice thing that happens in life. It's like nice in a weird way, I guess, where you realize that your parents are just people and they can make mistakes. So, I mean, you wouldn't trust your best friend's parents. You wouldn't trust the stranger's parents on like what they believe. No, you trust yours. Why? It's all bias. So you have kids these days making their own choices. I guess I say that in quotes because they're listening to other content creators making statements, and they're like, I'm choosing my content creator over my parents. I don't think making your own choices in life is a bad thing. Like, I don't think your parents and my parents are absolutely right on everything they've ever said. So you got kids saying that like Destiny is better than their parents. To be fair, he's probably done more research on whatever the fuck he's talking about versus the parents. The problem with real life is people like making statements off of things they've done no research on at all. And they're just like, this is what I think is true. It's like, okay, what do you base that off of? I don't know. So at least when you got these kids making opinions based off of people that actually have done formal education on things, I don't know. I'm neutral on it. Let's put it that way.
They're talking about psychiatrics and taking medication, a serious topic. Destiny does say during this conversation, don't listen to me, I'm being toxic, but he also says he's speaking from the heart. And then towards the end of the hour-long conversation, he urges his audience not to take any of it seriously. So then he can
okay, so when people say, I can kind of see why he would say don't take what I say seriously, just because he doesn't want to be legally responsible for anything. It's kind of like, at the end of some videos, they're like, this is, or at the beginning of videos, this isn't like legal advice in any way. Basically, that's just him absolving himself of legal advice or whatever issues and shit like that. That's a pretty educated guess. Let's put it that way. I didn't see what video they're talking about. That's the problem with these types of videos. All of it is cut out of context. I don't know what the fuck this guy's referring to. Like, I haven't seen the full hour video to be able to kind of like take a good guess at it, but that's my shot in the dark. He's just legal responsibilities. I don't want to be responsible for if anybody makes any choices based off of what I say, and then they get themselves in trouble because they're an idiot, and maybe they misapplied whatever I said and they got themselves in trouble, and now they're blaming me. Like, it's just, I guess, a way to absolve yourself of other people's legal decisions and shit when it comes to legality. God damn it, what's up with this buffering thing, man? Is this YouTube because I'm using an ad blocker? The problem is I don't want to watch commercials.
And now this guy's turning around saying everything I heard and I told my parents to fuck off about. And now I'm like, dude, I don't know. Maybe I hedged my bets in the wrong place.
In this clip, they're talking about psychiatrics and taking medication.
Oh, Destiny gets diagnosed but refuses meds. Tries to debate himself out of treatment.
A serious topic. Destiny does say during this conversation, don't listen to me, I'm being toxic. But he also
that makes perfect sense, actually. So him basically, he can't give medical advice. You kind of have to say that don't take me seriously. You kind of have to say all that stuff because, he's not a doctor and he can get into some serious medical problems if he's saying why he's not doing he's not taking medicine or whatever for his psychiatric problems or whatever he had. It makes perfect sense, actually. He doesn't want to get into any legal troubles as a potential doctor.
He's speaking from the heart. And then towards the end of the hour-long conversation, he urges his audience not to take any of it seriously.
Exactly.
So then he can shirk the responsibility of having the discussion he just had in front of them.
No, dumbass. He's shirking the responsibility of other people's actions that they make in their own life. Like, you're not responsible for other people's actions. If I were to say, Tui, I want you to take this fucking handgun and I want you to go on a killing spree. You don't have to listen to me. You can be like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm not doing any of that. Go fuck yourself. You still have agency as a human being. You can still kind of go out. You can still, you make your own choices. So as he's giving this, I guess, speech on medical or whatever, people still can decide whether or not they want to or not. So him, you know, he's trying to probably get out of any legal thing of people being dumbasses. Like I'm all for people taking responsibility and accountability of their own life. Just because you heard somebody on the internet say, "Hey, go kill people,"
The discussion he just had
doesn't mean you have to do it.
thousands of people. But then what about
It's
the
your
people
fault if
who
you
were
do,
tuning in and
stupid.
out who wound up taking Destiny at face value when he was talking about cardio health and Adderall?
Your heart is the main concern? It's not. I'm pretty sure my heart is going to be healthier on Adderall because I'm probably going to be going to the gym every single day because my sleep is going to be better regulated because I'm going to be awake when I need to be.
I have no opinion
my
on any of this, by
habits
the
are
way.
going to be better regulated. I'm pretty sure the overall gains in health, even cardiovascular, would probably be superior on amphetamines than off amphetamines.
No, that's wrong on every front. Not only can Adderall cause
I'm not a doctor, I don't
insomnia,
know.
but working out on it can potentially cause a heart attack or stroke. I guess we'll just chalk this one up to an oversight. This next clip is of Destiny commenting on something Hassan said about Destiny's audience.
He knows that my community is not full of f***ing racists because they were all nut hugging the f*** out of him when I was like nice enough to give him a little spot in the dirt to grow.
This isn't the main point
that's
I'm
right.
trying to make with this
Destiny
clip,
grew
but
Hassan.
Hassan isn't the one who dropped out of college. He actually got a double
He's
major
Turkish.
in political science and communication studies.
Or a Faz.
He also has a family connection at the Young Turks and got his start there.
Oh,
Did
interesting.
Destiny changed the course of Hassan's career? Sure. But Hassan would have been fine without Destiny to imply
So that's how he
otherwise.
got so popular, because his uncle was, I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name. Part of me always wonders how people get like to the level that they get to, and some of it is just getting grandfathered in, man. Fuck this buffering thing. How do I get rid of
He knows that my community is not full of f***ing racists because they were all nut hugging the f*** out of him when
I'm trying to make with this clip, but Hassan isn't the one who dropped out of college. He actually got a double major in political science and communication studies. He also has a family connection.
this guy, Shank Uger. He's because I remember how Hassan was like part of the Young Turks. I'm like, how is this guy part of the Young Turks or something like that? Oh, it's because his uncle was the founder of it, or co-founder of it. Interesting. I'm not against it or anything. That makes sense to me.
Action at the Young Turks and got his start there. Did Destiny change the course of Hassan's career? Sure. But Hassan would have been fine without Destiny. To imply
Probably.
otherwise is delusional. Let's continue to the main point of
It
this
probably
clip.
helped.
the full nuclear option was yesterday. I almost said, I don't want Hassan ever watching a clip of mine again, and I'll never watch anything of his again. And if he watches a clip of mine, I'll DMCA the f*** out of it. He can counterclaim me, and I'll take my Jewish f***ing lawyer that I got from Canada, and we'll go to court over it if he wants to watch any of my shit on stream. That's where I almost went to yesterday, but decided not to because when we get into the weird, everybody's DMCing people, it gets really f***ing weird. But it was pretty funny when he got DMC'd by the other guys, so I almost thought about it, but I didn't, okay?
So Destiny was seriously thinking about DMCAing him and starting some sort of court battle, and thinks it's funny when Hassan gets DMCA'd by other people. And what was this over again? Hassan making one of the most common arguments you hear in left-leaning spaces?
Is this the Kai Cenat guy?
Kai Cenat.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
I've
is
seen
the
that
Speed guy. Okay.
He got pretty
There's
popular
like
pretty
this
quick.
whole new legion of like black Zoomer streamers.
Zoomers.
And for as much as they talk about how like all white people did was scream at the camera, I feel like that's all these guys do.
Have this like weird argument that originated because Destiny worded something in the most like awful way he possibly could. It's just like it's just going
It's not
to
what you say, it's how you
galvanize
say it
all
is
the
the
most
argument.
ridiculous sweatiest cringe lords on the internet, some of which who frequent Destiny's community 100%.
It's not an argument that I agree with, but for Destiny to get that bent out of shape and to lose his mind like that, it's beyond childish and embarrassing. And Destiny's immediate response was even more ludicrous.
Why does this degenerate f***ing loser say this shit? Like, why not go to more clubs where like little girls are being
trafficked. Isn't that what you like?
Wow, what a proportional response. Just imply or call the other person a predator. And Destiny's the one who brought up DMCAing, striking down each other's channel, and taking each other to court. Are you kidding me? Ah, well that's just drama. Surely Destiny doesn't engage in bad faith when it comes to real political discussion, right?
Vosh calls Destiny a sophist and says that he's the ultimate incarnation of the problem with online debate. Do you think he'll show a single clip or example of me when he says this, or do you think he's going to do the simulacrum thing again? Please, God. I already know he's not going to. So I'm being performative now when I say this. No, I'm not being performative. I do genuinely hope he does. I hope he gives one example. I hope that he gives one example of me doing this in a debate. So if you tell me, if you say, Destiny, I feel like you misrepresent people's arguments, and then I ask you, okay, well, what argument have I misrepresented? And you go, well, I don't have any examples. Then those are your feelings. We're talking feelings.
They're all examples. I don't think you could find an argument where you actually argued somebody's point. I think you can just...
Okay, but you can't name... It's so strange that I do this so often, but you can't name a single time it's happened. That's very strange.
I just
to me.
did.
Okay, so we can talk specifically then about that, about me arguing with Mr. Medicare. If you're listening to me and you're a mutual fan of me and Vosh, or if you're some Vosh fan that stumbled into here because some Discord said that I was talking about him, you should, when you're watching content creators, and this doesn't just apply to me or Vosh, when you're watching content creators and they talk about other streamers, you should ask them for, wait, you said that streamer said that? Do you have a clip of that? Do you have a source of that? Is that true?
Now, this is a reasonable request. Ask for evidence when somebody makes a claim. And somebody recently provided a clip on Twitter of Destiny arguing for, well, the kind of violence that's intended to wipe out a certain group. While I don't like that they tried to get YouTube involved, it does technically violate TOS. Now that there's a clip for Destiny to respond to, how does he react? There's a reason all of these leftists will only ever try to
he's
get back
himself
weeks
as a
and
leftist
weeks
too,
for
which is the funny
one-off
thing.
comments or jokes rather than actually engage with any of the arguments on the merits. Smiley face. Oh, so what? It's cringe now if somebody takes the time to find the evidence, which is what Destiny was begging for, and then he tries to dismiss it as a one-off comment or a joke. But then the people who watch him point out, no, this is your position. This is the position that you've been taking during this whole conflict. Destiny responds saying, actually that wasn't a one-off comment. That actually wasn't a joke. That really is my position, but you need a little bit more context.
They
to
took out the
understand
word
why it's
Nazis
so
if you look at
smart.
that.
Oh my god, you sound like a fascist. Why are you arguing like a fascist? I'm gonna try to dismiss you as a fascist now. Just to recap, Vosh
This
and
world
others
we
have
live in,
called out Destiny for being
you've got to black out
disingenuous.
certain
Destiny
words
emphasizes
because
the
the
importance of
advertisers
evidence
don't like
and
that word.
clips to his audience when others make claims. A clip of him using violent rhetoric is brought to his attention. He makes fun of the effort of finding the clip in the first place and tries to write it off as a one-off comment, as a joke. His audience points out this is a lie. Destiny moves the goalpost once more and tries to gaslight the opposition. Like I said with Pokimane, it's very hard to prove a character judgment, but if you're trying to make the argument that Destiny is dishonest and he asks you for a clip, this is an opportunity for Destiny to lead you on a wild goose chase, to distract you from your argument about him being dishonest.
But you can't name... It's so strange that I do this so often, but you can't name a single time it's happened. That's very strange
I just
to me.
did.
Okay, so we can talk specifically then about that, about me arguing with Mr. Medicare.
Which makes it completely reasonable to think Destiny is dishonest. It's something he did 4 years ago, and it's something he still does
4 years.
Now. Vosh calls Destiny a sophist and says that he's the ultimate incarnation.
I thought they were talking like 4 weeks or something.
Do you
4
think he'll
years.
show a single clip or example of me when he says this, or do you think he's going to do the simulacrum thing again?
When you stream just about every day and stream up to 10 hours a day, it's
Couldn't find
absurd
anything
to
recent?
expect people to remember exactly when you said something and for them to be able to provide a clip each and every time. And when he is confronted with a clip, he's willing to dismiss it rather than address it.
Play it. Why don't we play this clip?
Is that do? Are we? We're doing the clip farming now. I don't have to. I don't talk in clips. I don't exist in 30-second clips. You should ask them for. Wait, you said that streamer said that. Do you have a clip of that? This is it.
Do you have a
This is all
50-second
it is.
out of context clip? Is what I'm taking out of it.
Source of that? Is that true? Yeah, I'm not gonna have you play clips
you
to me like we're 4 years old, my dude.
Even though he's the one trying to normalize bringing up clips as evidence, which is fair. So if Destiny is going to flip-flop this hard on his position of bringing up clips, he shouldn't be asking for them or telling his audience to ask for them. Instead, when he's called out for being dishonest, he should be asking himself, do I gaslight people? Do I move the goalpost? Do I distract them from the conversation they're trying to have?
Which just answer the question. I know
All
it sounds
the red
crazy.
pill people that I fight against, that I say like you shouldn't do this, is how you build a healthy relationship. All of those things are things that I do unironically in the worst way.
Maintaining division in political discourse is profitable for people like Hassan and Destiny. The toxicity is good for viewership, which normally I wouldn't really care about. I love toxic content.
Toxicity,
but Destiny
good for
is the
viewership.
one trying to preach about the
What do you know?
radical responsibility of democracy and influence elections, all while being a massive yet irresponsible influence. Here's a clip of Destiny addressing his audience.
All you guys do is you're just a bunch of retards baiting the other retards, but then you act like you're not
Playing the
retarded.
sound effect.
Like, that's what you're doing, right?
Uh-oh,
like,
retard
you guys
alert.
act retarded, and then the
Retard
other side sees
alert,
it, and then they
class.
act retarded, and then you guys go, look, they're retards, and then you guys act retarded, and then they go, oh, look, they're retarded, and then you guys just infinitely circle bait each other into it, like into perpetuity. That's what you guys do, and the entire time you guys think you have the moral high ground because the last person to act retarded right before you do was them. It's so stupid. It's so.
When was this taking
This
place?
is how Destiny often engages with people. Knowing how much influence he has over his audience, they probably learnt this circle baiting behavior from Destiny. So what does Destiny think about streamers being hated? This is a tweet in regards
That's
to
really the point of
reactions,
this
but it also
entire
gives us
video.
a more general idea as to why Destiny thinks streamers are hated. He says that it's popular to hate them, and that's all there really is to it. This is similar to one of the points Hassan was making.
You know, I'm gonna make a quick. So, like, one of the reasons it might be popular to hate streamers, probably because it's like an 8-hour stream, and it's the easiest from an 8-hour stream to cut anything somebody says out of context and make compilations of why they're pieces of shit that are out of context. Because that's something I know to be a huge problem in the content creation world, is people taking things out of context, and the media does this too. They love that technique. They've been doing it for like 60 years or something, right? Just take something out of context, put it online, everybody gets raged, and then they watch the show tomorrow to see what the rage they can farm. That's like legacy, kind of like traditional media will put it. So with streamers, I mean, if you got 8 hours every fucking day, the thing is, you've got to come proper if you're going to do this type of stuff on stream. And even if you're not, because at any point, for any streamer that ever exists ever, any streamer that exists ever, you can go find clips of them from like 4 years ago. Them, you know, that's why I was saying, like, me 4 years ago, you know, nobody's the same after 4 years, man. You're not the same person you were 4 years ago, right? You might have different opinions on things. But aside from that, I forgot what a point I was going to make. I got sidetracked by a thought inside of a thought. I forgot, goddammit. Oh, that was a good point too.
I'm saying it's the wave right now.
Should I
And
say
it
that
will
I'm tired?
inevitably pass, and they will move on, and they will turn around and start shifting their attention to whoever.
Oh, that's
the-
right. So with streamers, maybe one reason, but I really think it's because you see a bunch of streamers like Kai Cenat or whatever his name is. I saw a clip of him. I don't watch this guy stream, right? I don't watch his stream at all. Maybe 99% of the time he's acting normal. He's just like, yes, I am a normal person, and he's like really a normal person. And then one time something happened, I can't remember, and he gives it like the John Cena, like, well, no, it wasn't John Cena. Who's the guy that does the people's elbow, The Rock? He gave like the people's elbow to his streamer setup, and the last thing you see on a stream is this before the camera froze. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. It just popped up on my Twitter feed. I don't know who the fuck this guy is. So I think personally, it's things like that get clipped. Maybe 99% of the time he's acting normal. Probably not. But let's say, actually, I don't know. I don't know, maybe. But like, let's say that 1% of the time, it gets clipped. 1 million people that have never seen your stream, like me, go off and see that clip of you going crazy and acting stupid and like a child. And that's kind of has been personally, I think it's just out of context clips that are kind of ruining streamers, because, you know, we stream for like 8 hours straight, right? Every day or whatever. And then out of context clips from those one thing from 8 hours, you can probably find something like a 7-second clip from 8 hours that makes you look like a horrible piece of shit. And then 1 million people see it, and then they just don't like it. Personally, that's what I think is poisoning the live stream community. What is these guys' thesis here? I'm curious. I mean, they were saying it before, but I'm tired, so I'm ready to go to bed after this clip is finished. Like 10 minutes left. Also, tomorrow, I think I'm gonna stream LA Noir is on my bucket list, so I'm gonna LA Noir it. Maybe I can do it in one sitting instead of 12 sittings. Damn you, damn you, damn you, damn you, damn you to hell. 42.5 minutes, please.
Attention to whoever the next wave of content, where the next wave of content is coming from. That's it, because it's a popular thing.
But Destiny's take is certainly more reductionist. 2 days earlier, however, he tweeted, "Almost every single person that inhabits the streaming YouTube world is a horrible human being. I'm grateful for the incredibly few people, less than 10 and 13 years, I've met who haven't turned out that way." Well, that seems like quite the contradiction, and the only way it wouldn't be a contradiction is if Destiny is saying this from a place of intellectual superiority, that he's the only one that's able to see the scummy behavior amongst streamers. And anyone else who hates streamers, well, they're just doing it because it's popular, as if we're incapable of making proper judgments. But, like I said, it might just be a contradiction. Destiny also has some thoughts specifically about other political streamers.
Well, they actually do things, what do? They do dono drives. Wow. They solicit their audience for money while they sit there and get record high viewership, number to show how much clout they are, positive coverage all over the internet. They don't even have to leave the comfort of their own house. They don't even donate to their own fundraiser. Wow, amazing. Oh my God. How selfless. What would the world do without these guys? Or the political activism they'll do if they can get famous people on their stream. Well, actually, I did things with the senator. Oh, really? With one that nobody's ever heard of before, or just with literally the most popular people you can find on Twitter? Like, it's all clout sharking, dude.
I agree that donation drives can be an easy way to buy you good PR, but complaining about clout sharking and other people's clout as a popular political streamer, clout as in power and influence over other people, as in the driving force of politics, what are you talking about? If you're not trying to get clout in politics, then you're doing it wrong. Everyone who's trying to make a career out of social media needs clout to make a living. That goes doubly for political influencers. This finger pointing and need to feel superior reminds me a lot of Pokimane. The main difference being Destiny needs to feel intellectually superior, while Pokimane needs to feel morally superior.
She walks by, and behind her, my shining star, my #1 duo partner in Valorant. We're almost double diamond, okay? Pokey sees me.
In the New York Times article, "The Queen of Twitch Wonders What Turns Teenage Fans into Trolls," Pokimane talks about hate and misogyny. At first, seeing all the misogyny was a bit confusing and surprising. I was like, have young boys always been this way? But the accessibility and anonymity of the internet allows for these things to happen. While she's right about the accessibility of the internet allowing hate to flow more freely, she doesn't acknowledge how she feeds back into that cycle. Her consistently condescending and passive-aggressive approach to criticism is part of the negativity that comes from all directions online. Pokimane still expresses hate, just in a more nuanced and disguised manner, implying things like, "You're an embarrassment, you're friendless, you're pitiable, you're less than me," while maintaining an upbeat facade. She is a part of the problem she complains about. The root of this problem isn't misogyny, it's the desire to justify hateful behavior in one way or another. There's also something to be said about the age of her audience, who regularly grow out of her childish yet motherly shtick. Rather than trying to solve these issues, which she seems to have an understanding of, she instead chooses to exploit these problems to sustain her relevance. Her concern isn't addressing the problems with hate and volatility online. Her concern is how to utilize these existing problems to suit her wants and needs. If she really wanted to do something about the broken media landscape, she could be one of the most effective and prominent advocates out there, but instead she only mentions these issues in vague, general, and unproductive ways. I shouldn't have to dig up an article which documented an Instagram story which only stays up for 24 hours to find Pokimane's most in-depth yet still shallow take on the issues of social media, if it's something she truly cares about. The kind of sustainability she's looking for can only be kept up through insincere and toxic behavior, which isn't really all that sustainable. What separates lolcows from other
Who's this guy,
online
by the way?
personalities is the audience being able to make more entertaining content about them than the content creator themselves, i.e. the milking of laughs and content. With many streamers today, their content isn't entertaining as much as it is engaging. They are far closer to becoming lolcows than they would like to think. Sometimes the only thing preventing a fan from turning into a
Things
hater
of
is their unhealthy
redemption.
connection to the streamer. There are a lot of inflated and fragile egos in the world of streaming.
Communist
Imagine
manifesto.
if, say, Hassan's entire
I'm
community turned on
anti-communism.
him for a single day. Not just average backlash, but absolutely no one in his chat or on Twitter showing him love or support for a full day. He would lose his mind. Even in his current position, Hassan
like your
gets
Ness
into
emote,
heated
fartbag.
arguments with his
I
chat
missed it.
all of the time. I think most people I've talked about in this video would break if they had to deal with the kind of hate Wings of Redemption or DSP have to deal with. The need for attention and validation in these communities is incredibly high.
At the end of the day, they don't want to quit. They want attention at all costs. They want the viewers. If they really did care and it really bothered them, I mean, a lot of them have the wealth to off and do whatever they want and live a happy life. But that we have a disease, a lot of us, where we crave attention for the short span we have on Earth. And so if we were to lose that, that would be sad. So we succumb to things.
Now, since we've looked at some of the individuals in the streaming world, it's time to talk about some key
Did that guy
takeaways.
die or what?
One is a bit more clear and, to be honest, rather depressing. The other is a bit more abstract, but I find it to be more interesting and not quite as dark. I'll finish with that one, so I'm
Who the
not
fuck is that
ending
guy?
on such a dreary note. In a viral clip not long ago, the controversial streamer Sneeko ran into
I don't
some
like
fans
that
in
guy.
public, which was either filmed or live streamed. I'm not sure if this was an actual meetup, but that's not important. The kids that came up to him couldn't have been older than 12 years old, and they were saying some pretty wild things, especially considering their age. The point I'm trying to make here isn't about Sneeko in particular, although there's definitely an argument to be made there. What I'm focusing on is the age of live streaming audiences in general and how easy it can be to influence them. This is a 2018 research report about live streaming and children. Most of this data comes from a survey of 2,000 parents in the UK. Quote, although watching live-streamed content is not as common as watching vlogs, around 2 in 5 parents believe their children are watching them. The average amount of time spent watching live-stream videos per week is 1.5 hours. This doesn't sound like much, but taking into account other social media usage, and considering this was before the lockdowns, streamers have a good deal of reach among children. Quote, younger children in particular are felt to be easily led by what they are watching. Parents
I don't have any kids that
recognize
come
the
to my
change
stream.
in
It's
their
all
child's
fucking
behavior,
millennials
which they
and-
claim correlates to what they have
We're all in
seen
our
vlogs
30s.
and live streams. None of this is to say creators should be responsible for the influence they have on children unless they're intentionally targeting the youth as their demographic. What I'm arguing for here
Pokemon.
is parental awareness. Streaming is a powerful form of social media and should be treated as such. I understand that because the internet and smart devices are
Dude,
so
if parents don't
prominent,
want their
it
kids
makes
watching
parents feel like their children
this shit,
are
they
being
should just
left
block
out
it.
if
A
they
lot of them
give
don't even
access.
realize it, to be fair.
However, giving into the trends of tech may introduce their kids to new social and
Wreckful,
developmental
yeah.
problems. Stating this suggestion probably won't have an effect, but I think it would be wise for parents to have group discussions about these issues. Beyond that, I'm not sure what else could realistically be done. There's a disconnect caused by the popularization of streaming. Streamers don't necessarily have to be interesting, skilled, or entertaining.
Of course
people.
that's gonna
They
get
merely
clipped,
need
bro.
to convince an audience that they are attention-worthy.
Oh,
through
yeah,
social
yeah, yeah.
media
We know where this is
engagement
going
and
now.
Social connection. Pokimane is not some paragon of positivity. She's just good at marketing herself as such. Hassan is not a sensible socialist icon. He's just good at marketing himself as such. That's why he gets so much hate for being a champagne socialist. It's a particularly
Champagne
obvious
socialist.
contradiction. Destiny is not a level-headed political thinker. He's just good at marketing himself as such. If he was truly exceptional at debate and politics, he would be better at changing the minds of the people he talks to.
To be fair, I've
instead
seen some of
pushing
his
them
debates.
away
He's
for
actually
the
very
sake
good at
of
debating.
spectacle and ego. Sneeko is not a practiced philosopher.
No, he's
just
not.
good at marketing himself. as
This
such.
guy
earlier in
is
his
just an
career,
idiot.
He did make some more thoughtful content, but at some point
He does whatever is
for many,
popular in
fame
that
and
particular
influence
second.
became the
That's what that guy
primary
is.
focus.
He's just a shill.
If at any point you find yourself wondering, who is this? Who are these people? It's not important. They're just names. With how marketing and media continue to evolve with the internet, a lot of people these days aren't focused on developing a meaningful skill or building something solid. They're
Here's Zelda
focused
music.
on improving their ability to stack a house of cards. In traditional Japan, the 1600s, the merchants were often seen as greedy, as an occupation which ultimately did not produce or provide anything of value. While I believe this is an extreme view, there is a bit of sense to this. There is no creation manipulation involved with sales. If we think of more modern and advanced forms of this sort of fruitless quality, Wall Street and crypto
I never played
exchanges
StarCraft.
come to mind.
I'd like
The
to play one day,
concept of
see what it was
companies
about.
like FTX as well as brokers draw great deals of criticism and cynicism, especially
There's a bunch of games I
after
want to play
financial fallout. It
that I've never
goes
played.
beyond basic marketing
StarCraft,
and
I'd be interested in
salesmanship,
playing
the
it for like
product
a
in
week.
itself being nothing more than belief and speculation. More traditional entertainers are to merchants as streamers are to cryptocurrency. Entertainment in this form is no longer art for the sake of making an intriguing story or a culturally significant narrative. It is understanding.
Wait, streaming was about a form of art? What the fuck? What? When that was that a thing? Bro, I started streaming because I like playing video games and having people watch me. That's making art?
The meta of parasocial media engagement. It is speculating the market of attention and influence. To draw another parallel, it's like how the video game industry went from, how can we make a fun and innovative game, to, how can we capitalize on current trends and make something that's as marketable to as many people possible. There's always been a degree of trend hopping in the video game industry, but it's definitely gotten worse. Same with video media, especially streaming. There are some genuine and talented people in the streaming world.
Speedrunners,
People
go
care more
fuck
about their
yourself.
craft rather than being perceived as good at their craft. Still, the reputation of all streamers suffer from the other attention-hungry narcissists. As people get better at playing roles in media which they don't fit into, it will become
So you've got the
more
cloud
difficult
chasers
to
and then you've got
separate
like the
genuine
gamers, I
from the
guess.
fake. All right, that's gonna
So,
have to
I don't
do it
know.
for this one. Shout out to the
think
best
this video's
subscriber
over.
squad in all of YouTube. I hope everyone has.
So you've got gamers that live stream that don't really get a lot of coverage, let's be honest. And then you've got the cloud chasers, the people that will go off and do horrible things for people to kind of clickbait and watch, I guess. And those seem to do better than people that like play whatever game and they get some cool like 360 no scope headshot or something like that. Personally, I think the main reason Twitch gets such a bad name is because of these cloud chasers, the cloud chaser type of persona. And then they get these sometimes out of context, sometimes not. These like horrible 15-second clips of them acting like pieces of shit that just get posted in all those sorts of like news outlets. And then like, you know how many, like I've never watched a Kai Cenat stream. I've never watched like an Aiden Ross stream. I've never watched Neon, but like I follow a few Twitter streams or Twitter things, and some of those pop up. Some of those names pop up as like things that people that they're, oh, look what this moron did today. So technically I know who these people are without actually having watched any of the stream. And I think that that is how most people are. Even people that don't watch live streams, they're like, who's this fucking guy? Oh, it's the Twitch guy. Oh, Twitch. Oh, those are the guys that just like, do pranks on homeless people or something like that. Yeah, I've seen those guys. Yeah, they pop up on my Twitter feed every once in a while. And it ends up kind of ruining. To be fair, if all Twitch was gaming, you wouldn't see this problem. But it decided to branch out into IRL. You can go out and like stream outside and be a piece of shit outside. Get into fights with the people, but then your bodyguard stops them from fighting you. And it's just great content. And that's all you see from live streamers. That's what's gonna really fuck up live streaming personally. All right, so that's it for me today, fellas.